හරිම සුදුයි.
Tonight on First at 9, this Thursday, the 29th of February 2024. Lost rights. President Ranil Wickremesinghe directs officials to expedite distribution of freehold deeds under the Urumaya program. Waves of support. US envoy stresses importance of Sri Lanka expanding connections beyond the Indian Ocean region. Highlights US commitment to help Sri Lanka respond to maritime challenges.
Continued commitment to bolster Sri Lanka's own capacity to advance freedom of navigation by addressing key maritime challenges.
Guaranteed. UNFPA pledges support to upgrade Sri Lanka's data systems towards a digital economy. According to Ratnam, veteran filmmaker Chandram Ratnam highlights Sri Lanka's potential of being Asia's film capital, claims the film industry can be a top tourism revenue generator. Cooling down, Sri Lanka's CCPI-based inflation eases 0.5% in February.
ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දිනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
From Ada Derana, this is Ada Derana First at 9 with Indivari Amuata and Mahish Jani. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
And a very good evening, everyone. Welcome to First at 9 this Thursday, the 29th of February 2024. A very good evening, Indira. You look very pretty tonight.
Thank you. It's a leap. It's the leap day of the leap year.
Of course.
So try to look different. Good evening, Mahish.
So since it's a leap day, I have a joke for you. Actually, a dad joke for you, Indira. So what did the leap day tell the month of February? No?
No. What?
Well, don't worry, I'm only here for a day. Anyway.
And here only once every 4 years.
Exactly.
And it's considered an year of opportunities in some cultures. Positivity with the addition of one day in a calendar year, introduced by Julius Caesar about 2,000 years ago.
You know your history. I didn't know that. Anyways, lots of stories as always to bring to you. President is making statements. Also, the US ambassador has some advice for Sri Lanka with regard to its future and what we must be doing in terms of our relations, not just in the region, but must be pandering beyond that as well. And more stories.
Yes, more stories, international, and also in terms of our inflation rates. We see that the inflation is easing. But let's take you to your top stories tonight. Addressing what many experts claim is a fundamental impediment to Sri Lanka's agricultural productivity, President Ranil Wickremesinghe urged officials to expedite the Urumaya program launched to resolve land ownership issues of more than 2 million Sri Lankans island-wide. He made these comments during his visit to the Vilgamur Divisional Secretariat in Matale.
Now, under the first phase of the program, which was held in Dambulla, 10,000 freehold deeds were distributed to members of the public. Meanwhile, the president also urged relevant officials to expedite operations in the grassroots to realize key benchmarks in Sri Lanka's agricultural modernization program.
A meeting to discuss the Aswasma program at the Vilgamur Divisional Secretariat in Matale was held this morning under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
2018 පස්සේ අපේ ජාතික නිෂ්පාදනය අඩු වෙනවා. ඉතින් මෙතනදී ජනතාවට අමාරුවෙන් ජීවත් වෙන්න සිදු වුණේ. දැන් අපි බැලුවාම සමහර කොට්ටාස්වල දියුණුවක් ඇති වෙනවා. සංචාරක වාගේ ව්‍යාපාර එහෙම මේ ශේෂ්ත්‍රවල නම් දැන් ආර්ථිකය හොඳට හැදීගෙන එනවා. ඒත් මුළු රටේ මේක සිදු වෙලා නැහැ. ඒක අපි පිළිගන්න තියෙනවා. ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම සමෘද්ධි දීමනා වලින් ජීවත් වෙන්නත් අමාරු වුණා. ඒ නිසා අපි අලුත් වැඩසටහන අරක් කරේ. ඒකට උවමනා මුදල් අපි ළඟ එදා තිබුණේ නැහැ. ඒත් ලෝක බැංකුවෙන් අපිට ලබලා දුන්නා මේ අස්වැසුම වැඩසටහන. අපිට පුළුවන් වුණා සමුද්‍රය වාගේ දෙගුණයක් තුන් ගුණයක ආදායම් ලබලා දෙන්න. ඒක උවමනයි අද. සමුද්‍රලාභීන් හිටියේ ලක්ෂ 15ක් 16ක්. අපි දැන් යෝජනා කරලා තියෙන්නේ මේක ලක්ෂ 24 වෙනකන් වැඩි කරන්න කියලා. ඒ වගේම තවත් අංශයක් ගැන බැලුවා. ඒ තමයි රජයේ සේවක අංශය. රජයේ අංශයට පඩි වැඩි කළා අප්‍රේල් මාසේ ඉඳන් රුපියල් 10000ම ලැබෙන්න යනවා. 2015 අගමැති ඇටියට මම 10000කින් වැඩි කරා. අවුරුදු 10කින් කරන්න තිබුණේ. කෙසේ හෝ මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ නිසා 24 දිම එක වැඩි කරන්න අපි තීරණය කරා. තුන්වෙනි වැඩසටහන තමයි උරුමය වැඩසටහන. උරුමය වැඩසටහන අනුව මේ හැම එක්කෙනාටම සින්නක්කර ඔප්පුවක් දෙන්න කියලා. ඒ සින්නක්කර ඔප්පුව දුන්නාන් පස්සේ ප්‍රශ්න ඉවරයි. කෙලින්ම තමාටේ අයිතිය තියෙනවා.
The President also engaged in a cordial discussion with the members of the public and employees of the Vilgamore Divisional Secretariat.
මේ අවුරුද්දේ එන අවුරුද්දේ විගහට උරුමය කරන්න. අවුරුදු 10ක් ගන්න බෑ. උරුමය බලාගෙන හිටියනම් දැම්මම දෙමු මේක. එතනත් ඇති ඔප්පු ගන්න ඉන්නේ නේද? ඊළඟට අපි කෘෂි නවීකරණ වැඩසටහන කියනවා. මේ ආර්ථිකය දිනුනේ ඔක්කොම දැන් බිම්මට්ටමේ වැඩ කරන් තියෙනවා.
Now, as the world's center of economic gravity shifts towards the Indo-Pacific region, the US Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Julie Chung, highlighted that Sri Lanka must expand connections beyond the Indian Ocean region. The envoy went on to say that the United States is committed to helping Sri Lanka bolster the ability to protect territorial waters in light of regional security threats and economic concerns.
Now, speaking at the third phase of the Pathfinder Indian Ocean Security Conference held in Colombo today, she also went on to say that the donation of 3 former U.S. Coast Guard cutters to Sri Lanka Navy demonstrates the United States' commitment to strengthen Sri Lanka's capacity to advance freedom of navigation by addressing key maritime challenges such as piracy, drug smuggling, and human trafficking.
Our vision for the Indo-Pacific recognizes that much of the planet's future will be based on what happens in this region. Instead of asking whether Sri Lanka would be a battleground, it suggests a very passive role, letting yourself be a battleground. Instead of that, Sri Lanka can assert its identity, its sovereignty, and take a hold and shape its own future destiny and the future of this region. I think that's the right question we all should be asking ourselves today. Now, 2 years ago, it was then that the United States launched its Indo-Pacific strategy, which focuses on promoting a free and open Indo-Pacific that is connected, prosperous, secure, and resilient. The IPS seeks to galvanize bilateral and multilateral relationships across the Indo-Pacific region. For Sri Lanka, that means, of course, focusing on its immediate Indian Ocean neighbors and environment. But why limit yourself there? Think big. It means building or expanding connections within and beyond the Indian Ocean region, and to see how it can help facilitate linkages and relationships with distant partners as well. It's not asking, how does Sri Lanka fit into the Indo-Pacific, but how do you grasp all the opportunities that are here to be offered and act as a leader. The U.S. continues to play an active role in strengthening Sri Lanka's capacity to protect its territorial waters. We have donated 3 former U.S. Coast Guard cutters to Sri Lanka's Navy and have provided a variety of other security assistance. And just last Friday, Deputy Secretary of State Richard Verma was here. He announced a planned donation of a 4th Coast Guard cutter to the Sri Lankan Navy. And this demonstrates our continued commitment to bolster Sri Lanka's own capacity to advance freedom of navigation by addressing key maritime challenges including piracy, human smuggling, human trafficking, drug smuggling, and illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. We recently witnessed Sri Lanka addressing global challenges head-on and broadening its role on the world stage by sending one of those donated cutters to support Operation Prosperity Guardian that the President mentioned. This is a clear demonstration of Sri Lanka playing an active role in helping to secure the global supply chain that benefits both Sri Lanka but also the economies of the world. I can assure you the United States stands in support of this island nation as it looks beyond the horizon of the Indian Ocean and forges greater ties in collaboration with the rest of the world.
The Sri Lanka Navy has signed a memorandum of understanding with the U.S. National Nuclear Security Administration to prevent illicit maritime trafficking of nuclear and radioactive material. The MOU was signed by a delegation led by U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka Julie Chung and Navy Commander Vice Admiral Priyantha Pereira at the Navy headquarters yesterday. The MOU addresses bilateral cooperation to detect and interdict illicit trafficking of special nuclear material and other radioactive material through technical and methodological cooperation, including the installation and improvement of technical systems for the detection and identification of such material at border crossing control points of Sri Lanka.
Well, Asia-Pacific Regional Director of the United Nations Population Fund, Pio Smith, assured continuous support to upgrade data systems of Sri Lanka as it makes its way towards a digital economy. Now, he gave this assurance to Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena during a meeting held at the Temple Trees. Further, UNFPA's Regional Director also expressed interest in assisting programs to enhance collaboration at the national level and to advocate for the rights of women and girls.
Asia-Pacific Regional Director of the United Nations Population Fund, Pio Smith, who is currently on a visit to Sri Lanka, called on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena today. According to Prime Minister's office, the UNFPA Regional Director assured continuous support to upgrade data systems to move towards the digital economy. He has expressed interest in assisting programs to enhance collaboration at the national level and advocate for the rights of women and girls. Further, the UNFPA Asia-Pacific Regional Director lauded Sri Lanka's comprehensive approach to reproductive health and family planning, ensuring accessible information and services to enable informed decision-making. The UNFPA's Asia-Pacific Regional Director, who visited Kilinochchi, inaugurated the One Stop Centre at District's General Hospital. The One Stop Centre is a groundbreaking initiative introducing a new service delivery model in Sri Lanka, offering comprehensive sexual and reproductive health services, support for survivors of gender-based violence, and family planning services all under one roof. The OSC in Kilinochchi, which also provides essential psychosocial, medical and legal support for survivors of gender-based violence, is a transformative approach as a result of the collaborative efforts between UNFPA Sri Lanka, the Ministry of Health and the World Vision Sri Lanka, with the generous support from the Government of Norway. During his visit to Sri Lanka, the UNFPA Regional Director will also hold discussions with policymakers, government officials, civil society and key partners to enhance collaboration at the national level and advocate for the rights of women and girls.
Well, Sri Lanka has been recognized as a 2024 UN World Restoration Flagship for the efforts in rebuilding and rejuvenating the mangrove ecosystems. The award was presented to Sri Lanka during the 6th session of the UN Environment Assembly, which is currently underway in Nairobi, in Kenya. The President's office said the award was received by Secretary to the Ministry of Environment, Dr. Anil Jasinghe. Ecosystem restoration highlights providing assistance in the recovery of ecosystems and that have been degraded or destroyed, as well as conserving the ecosystems which are still intact. Sri Lanka's efforts in mangrove restoration focuses on restoring ecosystem services to re-establish equilibrium across the entire ecosystem and enhance connectivity. The award is a timely acknowledgement of Sri Lanka's sustainable solution for restoring crucial ecosystems, the media unit said in a statement.
Well, veteran filmmaker and producer Chandran Ratnam claims that the country's film industry can be a top revenue generator for the forex-starved economy of Sri Lanka. Now, he made these comments while drawing attention to the fact that the film industry is among the top 5 revenue generators worldwide.
Well, joining Hyde Park on Adha Derana 24 earlier today, I sat down to discuss with the veteran filmmaker Chandran Ratnam, where he highlighted that Sri Lanka must promote and invest in iconic locations of the island used in international movie productions, such as in the critically acclaimed Hollywood movie The Bridge on the River Kwai, revealing his plans to promote Sri Lanka as the film capital of Asia. Ratnam claims that several Indian filmmakers and movie producers have shown keen interest in shooting movies in Sri Lanka. Have we put restrictions around a tiny island that has been so open decades ago?
I'm sad to say, wrong man for the wrong jobs in our industry. Our industry has not been exposed to the world. I'm not going to knock actors and actresses, but you don't put actors and actresses into administration jobs about a studio or things like that to run administrative duties of the film industry. So wrong man for the wrong job. Just because you're an actress, you're not a good administrator. So we don't know what we want. We don't understand the industry. We don't understand the business. But all over the world, the film industry is out of the 5 main revenue earners of any country, you will find that the film industry is among the 5. Take for example, India, big film industry, bigger than anything in the world, any other country in the world. Vietnam, out of nowhere, is a big film industry. Indonesia, Malaysia, we are the only failure. What we are confusing is, whenever we talk about the film industry. Are you talking about people coming to see the beautiful locations, film industry? Or are you talking about people coming here to make films? There are 2 aspects of the film industry. One is combined with tourism. One is combined with the production factor only. People come here to make a movie. They spend some money and Sri Lanka has that revenue and they go. Now, a picture like Bridge on the River Kwai is a miracle. It's iconic. Even today, after all these years, it's on the 10 best list. I won't tell you for how many years I've been telling the tourist department, rebuild the bridge. Because they did not do it. What did Thailand do? They took advantage of it. Kanchanaburi was a small town where the original bridge was there. Small town with hardly a story. They took advantage of it. They have museums of Bridge on the River Kwai. They have tours. They built hotels in this little town of Kanchanaburi. After the film was released, they took full advantage. We never took advantage of it.
Sri Lanka today, we're still struggling to make a stand locally for our films. How do we really overcome these challenges?
Tourists coming to see where a film was made. That is one section. The other section is people coming to make a film. Tourist board now, the tourist promotions, they understand a little bit about it and they are really trying to promote India into coming to Sri Lanka. India makes 2,000 movies a year, much more than Hollywood, not much more than Europe. The biggest film producing country in the world is India. 2,000 films a year. We are only a 2-hour flight away. Why can't we get some of that business? So this is what we are trying to do. My mission is to make Sri Lanka the film capital of Asia. I am very proudly saying that. Sri Lanka the film capital of Asia. And we can do it. First of all, make it feasible for them. We must give them a reason to come to Sri Lanka.
What are the prospects for Sri Lanka here?
Now is the time we have the opportunity. Whenever there is a disaster, there is opportunity. I went to Mumbai last week for 4 days and I met 5 of the top production companies and they all showed their desire to come to Sri Lanka and shoot the movies if we provide the right facilities. Let's find out what they are craving for and provide it here because they are tired of Mumbai. They want to make a film outside Mumbai. We have to earn our place. We cannot sit down and say, we built a studio, when are they coming? No. Marketing is equally important as the buildings.
After 4 days of missing court appearances, former Minister of Health Keheliya Rambukwella was produced before the Malika Magistrates Court today when the legal matter on the import of substandard vials of the human immunoglobulin vaccine was taken up in open court.
The former health minister's appearance followed several submissions made by his attorney, President's Counsel Anuja Premaratne, who claimed that his client cannot appear in court on account of his ailing health.
Considering the evidence led before court today, the Maligakanda Magistrates Court ordered former Health Minister Keheliya Rambukwella to be further remanded until the 14th of March.
Meanwhile, former Minister of Health Keheliya Rambukwella has petitioned the Supreme Court through his attorneys, invoking its jurisdiction over matters pertaining to fundamental rights.
Through the petition, the minister claims that the authorities have infringed his fundamental human rights by wrongfully detaining him in remand custody.
Former Minister of Health Keheliya Rambukwella was produced before the Maligakanda Magistrates Court earlier today when the pending legal matter on the import of substandard vials of the human immunoglobulin vaccine was taken up in open court by the Maligakanda Magistrate Lochana Abevikrama. The former health minister's appearance in court comes off the back of several submissions made by his attorney, President's Counsel Anuja Premaratne, who claimed that the minister's ailing health prevented him from appearing in court on multiple preceding occasions. Court proceedings on the matter commenced today with Deputy Solicitor General Lakmini Girihagama's submissions. The Deputy Solicitor General disclosed in open court the contents on the report prepared by a committee of 9 specialists on the ailments which prevented former Health Minister Keheliya Rambukwella from appearing in court. Citing the report, the Deputy Solicitor General submitted that the physical ailment which allegedly kept the former Health Minister from court was not as serious as purported by the Defence Counsel. Accordingly, the Deputy Solicitor General urged the Maligakanda magistrate to make an order against the medical officer of the prison hospital. Making submissions on the involvement of former Director of the Medical Supplies Division Dr. Saman Ratnayaka or the procurement of substandard vaccines, the Deputy Solicitor General informed court that the relevant cabinet papers pertaining to the medical shortage were prepared in the Medical Supplies Division headed by Dr. Saman Ratnayaka. While highlighting that he has failed to record a CID statement, the Deputy Solicitor General requested the Maligakanda magistrate to order Dr. Ratnayaka to record a statement at 9 am tomorrow. In response, the magistrate claimed that appropriate legal action must be taken against anyone who evades investigations. Considering the evidence led before court today, the Maligakanda magistrate ordered former Health Minister Keheliya Rambukwella to be further remanded until the 14th of March. Meanwhile, former Minister of Health Keheliya Rambukwella petitioned the Supreme Court through his attorney, alleging that his fundamental rights were infringed by the alleged arbitrary arrest and wrongful detention executed by the Criminal Investigation Department. The Inspector General of the Police and the Director of the CID were named as respondents in the matter. Through the petition, former Minister of Health Keheliya Rambukwella seeks compensation worth 100 million rupees from the caption.
Welcome back, everyone, to First at 9. Let's get your business news now. Now, Sri Lanka gradually marches towards economic resurgence. Sri Lanka's inflation, measured by the Colombo Consumer Price Index, decreased this month to 5.9% from 6.4% in January.
Now, the Department of Census and Statistics said that the year-on-year inflation of the food group increased to 3.5% from 3.3% in January, while the year-on-year inflation in the non-food group increased to 7% in February from 7.9% in the preceding year.
According to the Department of Census and Statistics, headline inflation as measured by the Colombo Consumer Price Index on a year-on-year basis fell to 5.9% in February this year from 6.4% in January. Year-on-year inflation of the food group increased to 3.5% from 3.33%, while the year-on-year inflation in the non-food group fell to 7% from 7.9% a month ago. The contribution to inflation by food commodities on a year-on-year basis was at 1.113% in February. The contribution of non-food items to inflation was recorded at 4.74%, mainly due to price increases in the housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels group, which recorded a contribution of 3.6%.
Taking you to the Colombo Bourse, shares closed lower today, dragged down by losses in financial stocks. The benchmark all share price index settled 0.25% lower at 10,651.77, snapping a two-session winning streak. LOLC Finance and DFCC Bank were the top losers on the index, falling 2.4% and 5.1% respectively. Trading volume on the benchmark index fell to 42.9 million shares from 46.8 in the previous session. Meanwhile, the S&P SL20 fell by 0.64% to settle at 3,037.38 by the end of the session. Turnover rose to 1.64 billion rupees from 1.29 billion in the last session. The capital goods sector was the top contributor to turnover, while the food, beverage and tobacco sector came in second. Foreign investors were net sellers, offloading stocks worth 630.8 million rupees, while domestic investors were net buyers, purchasing shares worth 1.51 billion rupees. Let's take a look at the rupee exchange rates for the day.
Well, in yet another milestone in Sri Lanka's Sri Lankan television, TV Derana is set to launch in full HD on the free SAT platform starting tomorrow.
Now, this means TV Derana will be the first local channel to be provided on the platform in HD quality for the benefit of our viewers.
For TV Derana's full HD content, FreeSat users can tune into channel number 12 on the FreeSat service.
The FreeSat footprint covers Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Afghanistan, the UAE and Oman.
TV Derana claims the distinct honour of being the local first terrestrial channel to be launched in Full HD format on the FreeSat platform that commands a reach of 5.4 million households in Sri Lanka. All FreeSat users will be able to watch TV Derana's Full HD content on FreeSat's channel number 12 from tomorrow onwards. The partnership between FreeSat Private Limited and TV Derana to this end allows local FreeSat users to enjoy TV Derana's content in Full HD quality without having to pay a monthly subscription. Services on FreeSat are offered in HD and Ultra HD island-wide and to the entire South Asian region on a free-to-view basis. The FreeSat service is owned and operated by FreeSat Lanka Private Limited, a Sri Lankan company licensed by the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka.
Now, Oxford College of Business bagged yet another gold award in the SME category at the ACCA Sustainability Reporting Awards 2023. The achievement marks the third consecutive year of triumph for Oxford College of Business.
In the meantime, HNB was awarded the Best Market Leader in Trade Finance Services at the Euromoney Awards for Excellence. With that, let's take a look at today's corporate news segment.
The Oxford College of Business clinched the prestigious Gold Award in the SME category at the ACCA Sustainability Reporting Awards 2023. Oxford College of Business clinched the award for the third consecutive time. The heart of OCB's success lies in the annual report 2022 to 2023, aptly themed Bonds of Ecovacity. Oxford College of Business is a management education provider under the University of Oxford. Meanwhile, HMB plc secured 4 awards at the Euromoney Awards for Excellence in 2024. Euromoney bestowed HMB with the prestigious titles of Best Market Leader in Trade Finance Services and Best Service Provider in Trade Finance, both overall and domestic. The Euromoney Trade Finance Survey, a highly regarded industry benchmark, meticulously evaluates trade finance products and services at a global, regional and country level. In the meantime, Sri Lanka Navy College, the training arm of Sri Lankan Airlines, successfully gained NVQ Level 6 status under the National Vocational Qualifications Framework. The NVQ accreditation increases the national recognition for the programs offered by Sri Lanka Navy College and enhances the career prospects of graduates by validating their occupational competence. The accreditation certifies that a course is in par with the Higher National Diploma in Technical and Vocational Training and will also enable local students to laterally enter graduate programs in related disciplines.
That wraps up tonight's edition of First at 9. We'll see you again tomorrow at the same time with the very latest from across Sri Lanka and around the world. I'm Indiveri Amuatha.
And I'm Mahish Johnny. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.